of a bio of our special guest this evening. I'm super excited to speak with her. And let me just see if I can get over there without losing everything. I'm sure I can. I had it all planned out before this, right? All my little tabs were open. Let's see, guys. But we have Christina Ivette, guys, in the virtual building.
Yeah.
And again, I am super excited. So, Miss Christina Ivette is a wife, a mother, and a registered nurse who got tired of being locked in the concrete box called a hospital for 12 years for 12 hours per day, missing basketball and ballet practice with her kids. So one day she told herself she needs a business so she can be the soccer mom she's always dreamt of being. So she built a 6-figure real estate company while simultaneously working in her profession. She retired from her nursing at the age of 31. Today, she's a serial entrepreneur and investor and have invested in many industries, including real estate, stocks, foreign exchange market, cryptocurrency, Turo car rentals, Airbnb home sharing, and much more. She has a wealth of knowledge and has made $1 million doing what she does best. Nowadays, she's a mentor on a mission to teach people how to build passive income, which is the importance of multiple streams of income and the formula to retiring young. So without further ado, everybody give Miss Christina a virtual hand clap. Welcome, sis. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Monica. I'm so excited to be here today with you.
Girl, I'm excited to have you. So let's kind of dive right on into it. I'm sure people are just wanting to just get to know, well, first of all, how you are so young and doing so much and how you have just been able to just kind of find your way and just pave your lane to financial independence to where you're able to retire. So let's just start. If people are wanting kind of the same thing, and if they want to get in contact with you for mentorship or just to reach out to you, what's the best way that they can connect with you?
So the best way to connect with me is definitely on social media. On all social platforms, I can be found as I am Christina Ivette. And that's Christina with an H, and Ivette is Ivette. I also have a website that's called ChristinaYvette.com that'll redirect you to all my other social platforms. So those are 2 ways that you can get in contact with me, and I'm very responsive. So I will definitely, if you DM me, I will DM you back.
Awesome. And I wrote those down, so I'll make sure that they are in the comment section so people can get in contact with you if they want.
Thank
so tell
you.
us a little bit more about what it is that you do and offer with your services, and just kind of how you kind of got into investing.
Okay, absolutely. So I have a brand. It's called 7 Ways to Wealth. And with this brand, I teach people how to create different passive income streams so that they can have, multiple streams of income and retire. That's my main purpose. And I teach it through index funds with the stock market, through cryptocurrency, doing trading and staking, and through the Forex market by having like a PAM account and having someone else do all the trading for you. So those are my 3 primary things that I teach about in this brand. And that's pretty much my mission. I just want to help educate people, and the best way to do that is by helping them with their financial literacy, because we are conditioned to thinking that we have to work for 40 years and retire at 65, but that's actually not the truth. We don't have to work for money like money can work for money. And so that's why I, primarily teach passively, because if you're investing, but these are like active ways of investing, you're just pretty much creating like another job for yourself, or you have to still trade time for money. So the passive approach, where you're making money in your sleep and it's going to happen automatically, is what I really love educating people on.
I love it. So how did you know that you were interested in this, like in finances and investing? Like, were you always good with numbers, or how did you know that this is something that you were wanting to dive into?
So, the way it started was, it started in real estate, and it started with one property that I flipped. And I bought this house for $89,000, and I renovated it for $30,000, and I sold it for $235,000. So with that being my first deal, which was a 6-figure deal, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with all of this money? And so I rolled it into another real estate deal, but I also wanted to practice diversification. And I said, I can't just put all my eggs in one basket, because what if the house burns down, right? What if something happens? And even though I like tangible assets, I'm like, I have to also split this money and put it somewhere else. And so I was doing research on the stock market, and I'm saying, what is the easiest way to invest in the stock market where you don't have to, learn how to trade. You don't have to really learn or do as much research about these different businesses. Like, what is the easy blindfolded kind of way of investing? And so I stumbled across index funds. And with index funds, it's the most simplest way in order for you to build wealth, in order for you to gain money in the stock market passively. So I started diversifying, and I got into index funds, and from index funds, it led me down a rabbit hole to the foreign exchange market, because they're pretty much neck and neck, but the foreign exchange market is a little bit larger than the stock market. But it's different. It's not dealing with, different shares in a company. So with the foreign exchange market, it deals with the currency pairs in different countries. So I said, okay, this is diversification as well. So what I started doing was I actually started learning how to trade. So I was going on YouTube and, learning. And then I took a course on babypits.com and started, learning how to trade in the foreign exchange market. But one of the challenges I found was that I still had a full-time job. And so I would jump into a trade at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I would have to clock into the hospital at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I still had this trade that I had to manage while I'm taking care of 5 patients. So with that, I found challenges, and I said, okay, well, I can't be an active trader and also working full time. So how can I do this passively? So with more digging and more research and going on to websites like myfxbook.com, where they show like all the statistics, I looked for, statistics of some of the highest performing traders. And so they offer PAM services, which I knew nothing about. And it's when they, you can leverage them, and they will trade on your behalf, and all they want is a percentage of your profit. So I said, well, this sounds like a win-win situation. Like, how much do you want? And so it depends. But the one that I chose was, at that time, it was 80-20. So they only took 20% of my profit. I said, okay, well, that's good, because I don't have to do any of the work. And so, that me being in the foreign exchange market, learning how to trade, put me in different places and spaces where I started, networking with individuals who were getting into crypto, getting into Bitcoin, doing all this other stuff. So I started learning about how you can trade in crypto. So you can do the same, thing in Forex. You can day trade with crypto. And so some of my buddies from Forex, they said, okay, well, there's this new system. It's an AI system, and it'll do all the trades. So it'll execute the trades, manage the trades, and close the trades for you. I said, this is a win-win situation. And so I obviously invested in this AI system, and I put money there so that it could grow passively by using, compound interest, which is one of the things that you definitely want to, utilize. It's a tool that will help you create, growth or build growth, wealth for yourself. So that's pretty much how, how it goes, how it started to where it is.
That's awesome. And I commend you just for being so knowledgeable, because most times people are like, compound interest, Pam, like those terms would just intimidate people. And then, like, they'll just settle for their 9 to 5. So I commend you for being so, not only for being so knowledgeable, but for being willing to teach other people as well, how to get their self financially secure. So let's talk about if somebody is wanting to retire at 31 or retire young, what would you say is like maybe the first mindset that they should make sure that they have?
So the first, the most important thing when it comes to mindset and wanting to retire is basically getting rid of the fear, because the fear is what's going to hold you back. So you actually need to train your mind into having that willpower to move, to still move forward, even with being fearful. A lot of people are afraid to invest. They are afraid to leave their 9 to 5. And it's because, that fear paralyzes you. Even if you don't see it or know it to exist, it does. So, the first thing is recognizing, yes, I'm scared. I'm scared to leave my job, or I'm scared to invest 20% of my paycheck because I don't know if this thing is going to fail. Once you accept that fear, then you're able to move past it, because you're saying, well, you know what? I'm going to build up this courage to invest my paycheck into something that will help it multiply. And that goes back to you needing to basically tell yourself, do pep talks. That's something that I did early on, is I was telling myself, you're going to do this even though you're scared. Keep moving, keep walking, keep going. And those pep talks will diminish that fear, because the fear is bigger than us.
Yeah.
And true. So the goal is to, minimize it and to make it smaller than what it is, because once you're moving forward into investing, into, being intentional about retiring young, then that fear is eventually going to disappear.
I love it. I love it. And it's funny that you talk about fear, because you seem so fearless in this space. You just seem like, I know this, but I'm sure it was a process for you, right?
It was very scary. It was scary. And then another thing is that I'm young. So a lot of people that were older than me, they're like, no, don't do it. You're going to lose your shirt. You're going to lose your pants. You're going to lose all of your money. No, you work so hard as a nurse. Don't invest. Don't buy real estate. And I'm just thinking, that sounds like bad advice. I'm going to do it anyways.
Wow. And I'm sure that you are so glad that you did. That's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And so now, what would you say are maybe the top skills for somebody who is looking to get into this space of investing, whether it's in cryptocurrency or real estate? What types of skills or knowledge base should they try to acquire first?
So, one is communication. That is a very important skill to have when navigating through, having these different types of investments, because you have to, you have to be reading, you have to be able to get on the phone with a brokerage for them to break down, everything that your investment account entails. So, and you also have to be good with, like, analyzing. So with communication and having the ability to analyze, your specific portfolio or these investments that you're getting to, like these these index funds, you'll be able to familiarize yourself with the lingo and the language and stuff, because that is what could turn somebody off as well. They're like, I don't get this. But that's just a form of communication, and you have to be able to, to do the research and say, okay, Google that word. Simple. Like, what is a prospectus? Google it. You'll find out what a prospectus is. So, yeah, so those are important things initially starting out you have to do.
I love it. I love it. And so I'm sure in your years of doing this, there have been some challenges. So can you name, like, maybe one challenge that you had to kind of navigate through and just what you learned through that process?
Yes. So there is definitely going to be failure when you are, when you're risking your money, your time, your effort, all of that. So I have experienced a lot of it. And the thing that kept me afloat is that I didn't let the failure, keep me down. So one thing that I experienced was I flip houses, and so the last house that I flipped, I actually lost $50,000 in that house. It was a loss, and it was my first loss. But on a normal situation, that could have been, like my first and last, that could have been my last deal, that if that's what I decided. But I bought this house, and I did not know that it had an illegally converted garage. So when the inspector came to check the impact windows and they seen the garage, they said, no, this is a no-no. They gave me a violation, which cost me thousands. And then I had to hire an additional team on top of the team that I already had in order to legalize the garage. So that was a life lesson that I learned. And, and I'm actually happy because there was a lot of growth. I actually, figured out a new strategy to where I don't want to flip old houses anymore. And I know that that's other people's niche, which is a good niche. But now it actually caused me that growing pain to where I'm like, okay, I'm growing outside of this space, and now I want to develop. So that is the transition that I, took as a result of that $50,000 failure. And that's only in real estate. Now, in the foreign exchange market, when I was trading myself, I am an emotional creature. And that's something that, I can't help. So when I'm trading with my emotions. And unfortunately, like, when it comes to this, it's 80% psychological and 20% skill set and strategy. So I have taken a lot of losses because I got out of the market too soon. Because I was nervous that, this trade was going in the opposite direction. Yeah. And little did I know that if I would have held it for a few more hours or a couple more days, that loss would have been a win. And so it hurts, but it taught me a lesson. It taught me a lesson. And you're going to experience failures in any and every department of your life. From parenting to running your business to different investments. But you have to just determine, does the risk outweigh the reward, or does the reward outweigh the risk? And obviously, if you're putting yourself out there, you're going to be rewarded for taking that risk.
That's true. That's true. And I love that you said that, because there are so many people who are paralyzed by fear. And they have all of these dreams, and they're probably watching you and just thinking, oh man, she's so amazing. I want to do that. I want to be free from my job. But it's that fear piece. And I love also that you said that although you are an emotional creature, and I'm one to myself, girl, I'm a waterhead. I will cry at the drop of a dime over. I could be happy, sad, it doesn't matter. Tears are coming out. But in spite of that, you still push through and you still make your deals happen, and you go on. But so when somebody is working with you, whether it's your one-on-one mentorship, are you walking people through this process, or how are they working with you to make their deals and do those types of things?
Yeah, so when it comes to my mentorship, I am holding their hand throughout the whole process, which is, is so important, because I had initially, I didn't have a mentor, but the way I had got into real estate was by going to those seminars. And so I went to a seminar learning about how to flip houses, and it fueled me to gain more knowledge and more expertise. But, and so on my first deal, I made a lot of mistakes, but I pushed through the mistakes. And if I would have had a mentor there with me, I would not have made as many mistakes and had to redo things, because, when it comes to renovating a house, there are certain steps that you have to take, right? You have to do the floors and then the baseboards, not the baseboards and then the floors. So I learned the hard way. And later on, probably I think it was my third or fourth deal, that's when a mentor came into my life. And that's when I was actually able to scale my business, because I was now, instead of doing one deal at a time, I was able to grow my team and do multiple deals at a time. But I would not have been able to do that if I didn't have that guidance from somebody who was already doing it. So that was the real pivotal point in my business, just having that GPS navigation, right? Because we're navigating through uncharted waters and we don't know what we're going to bump into. But if someone is guiding us, they have the goggles and they know where they're going, then there's no stopping you.
Love it.
Yeah.
So take us through the process of just kind of maybe how you picked individuals on your team. Was that process, was it easy or difficult just to find the right team members or contractors, whoever you have working and doing your projects? How is that process for you?
Yeah, so that process is very challenging, because unfortunately, when it comes to real estate, I find that there's not that much loyalty. They're going to hop to the next high ticket project. And so you have to develop that trust factor right away. And so the way I found my team members is by, first I hired a contractor, and then because I was always on site and I was the project manager on my site, they always saw my face. And so later on, when it comes to, the next project, they reach out to me and they're like, hey, can I work with you on your next project? So that's how I was able to build my team, because I had one person that was loyal and jumped to the next project with me, and they were able to refer other people. So they referred the electrician, they referred the plumber. So then we built that relationship. But it started with the referrals, because initially the contractor was a referral from someone who was already in the business. So it was someone that they trusted and that they knew the results were, high quality results. So word of mouth can definitely, get you far in real estate, or in any industry really. And that's just, you putting out a good product and having other people, vouch for you. So you have this reputation like, hey, this person is loyal, honest, authentic, and will get the job done. And once you do one project and, everything is smooth and, you don't have any issues with like paying them and all of this stuff, then it's just, they always want to work with you because they want, consistent work.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And so now take us through the process of so before someone ups and quits their job, right? What would you say that they should try to just make sure that they have in place, even if they're excited, they're working with you, they're getting their income streams up, but before they make that hop, what kind of things should they have in place?
Yeah, so before you leave your job, there's two questions that you need to ask yourself. And so the first question is about your time, right? Because you're trading time for money. So what is your job? The question is your job taking away from you building your business, right? So if the answer is yes, that it is, then that's one key indicator that, hey, maybe it's time to scale back, right? And you don't have to quit your job, right away, like cold turkey. There's like levels to it, right? You can go part-time, and then from part-time you can go as needed or per diem. So, but you have to determine, okay, me trading my time for money in this business, is it taking away from me scaling my business? So if that answer is yes, then you have to consider that. You have to consider, moving away from your 9 to 5 job, because at the end of the day, you're building somebody else's company. You're not building your own company. And this company that you're, building, is your children going to be able to inherit it?
Right.
And that answer is no. They're not going to be able to inherit your job at the hospital or inherit the hospital.
Right.
So that was my situation. And then another question that I asked myself was, was I serving my purpose and was I happy? Because I'm on a mission of the pursuit of happiness, right? So I'm looking for my ultimate happiness. And when I decided to quit the nursing field, it was at the height of the pandemic, when things were just, they were hard. So that's why I asked myself, I'm like, okay, am I fulfilling myself? Am I fulfilling my God-given purpose? Am I doing that? And so the answer obviously was no again. So I knew that it was also time for me to exit.
Yeah. And I think that's a powerful place to be, because, like we said, many people just stay on their jobs because it's what they've always done, even if they hate it, but to just actually take that time. And I think the pandemic actually paused life for a lot of us too. It's just, it just kind of gave us that time to reflect. But so I think it's big that not only, did you say, hey, okay, this nice paying job, right, is still not my passion. There's more. And to actually step out and to get more, doing it scared, but doing it more for your family and for that legacy. So I think that is awesome. And so now, Christina, many people have like their idea of what success is. What does success mean to you?
So success means to me when you are able to, wake up and do whatever you want to do.
Love it.
So me, I have three children, and
Okay.
you know, it. I quickly realized that I was not able to spend as much time with my children because I was gone 12 hours a day, and so that was the challenge. And so
Yes.
so I that was my motivation. Like, my children are my why, right? And so that's why I got thrown into entrepreneurship, because I had this 1 year old baby. I was a new nurse, and I said, okay, I'm going to save every dollar that I have so that I could invest it, because I want to be able to spend as much time as I want with him. And that's how so I was a mom before I became an entrepreneur. He kind of just threw me into it, but I knew that that was the right way to go. And so my goal was to exit my career as fast as I could, because I knew that it was just stealing time away from family. That was like the main thing for me. It was just being able to spend as much time with family, being able to do whatever I wanted to do, being able to wake up whatever time I wanted to wake up as well. Right now I'm a morning person, but back then I was not a morning person. I did not like waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5:30. Now it's like, it's my routine. But just that time freedom. And then, like, one of my goals is like location freedom too, where I can be, in any state or part of the world or country or anything. So because of those goals of wanting to be present in my children's life and not being stuck in a hospital for 12 hours, that's a big trade-off. And I know that my children, they need me. They need their moms, because they're spending more time at daycare or with the babysitter.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
so they're being molded in that direction. Like me, I speak Spanish, but I didn't teach my children to speak Spanish, right? Because I'm shaky. And
Okay.
they went to a preschool, and all the teachers speak Spanish. So next thing you know, they're speaking Spanish. I'm like, oh, they have a big influence on you. Right? I didn't even know. I'm like, okay, they're teaching you other languages and all this stuff, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I just realized, I'm like, okay, yeah, so they spend more time there than they do here. So they spend more time with that person than they do mom.
Yeah.
So that was, that was very important to me.
I love it. So take us through a typical day in your life. Like what's a typical day? Like, what time do you get up, and what's your routine? Just like, what's a typical day?
Oh, okay. So my day is it's pretty much the same, but same every day. But
Okay.
I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I do my morning routine. And so my morning routine consists of me first doing meditation. That's like the first thing I do. So I don't pick up my phone, I don't start answering emails or anything bizarre like that. So I meditate for about, I want to say 10 minutes, and then that kind of flows into visualization, where I visualize like my dream life. Like, I visualize me like on vacation basically, or doing whatever I want to do. And I also visualize my day, right? So my day is going to consist of, me, exercising, working out, dropping the kids off, picking them up, all of that stuff. So I visualize my day. And then from there, I start doing affirmations, where, affirmations. So like, I say things like, I am a public speaker. I am a world traveler. I use affirmations like that. I am healthy. I just make sure and affirm in my life those things that, that I want, or that I want to consistently, have. And after affirmations, I dive right into prayer, and I pray. And after I pray, I read a page in my devotional, where, for whatever day it is today, right? The date. And then from there, I journal. and journaling is just it's very important. So it helps me tap into to my goals. It helps me tap into, to who I am as a person, and I just it's my form of expression. And so I just journal one page, and that is it for like my morning routine. And then I go to the gym. So my morning routine, it's usually about 30 minutes. So I'm probably in the gym by 6. And I work out for about an hour till 7. And then 7:30, I make breakfast. 8 o'clock, I drop off my son to school. He's in 4th grade. So I drop him off, and then from that's probably I get home by 9. And then so I have set hours, and so from 9 until from 9 until 10, I'm with my two little kids, and we're eating breakfast and getting ready for the day, and I'm putting like some educational stuff on for them. And then my work hours are 10 to 4. So I have a home office, and I operate here in my home office, and I just have like, calls scheduled with my mentees, or if I have to go look at a project, I do it from that time, from 10 to 4, and 4 o'clock is my hard stop. So I don't, let it spill into into the rest of my day, because it's dedicated for family. I just make sure that I have that work family balance, because if it's not balanced, then you having pure chaos. So so right now I have a project going on. It's a duplex. It's about 30 minutes from my house. So every other day, I do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I travel over there 30 minutes to just check on the progress. I talk to the project managers and the contractors, and see if there's anything that they need from me. But I just physically like to be hands-on, even though I don't have like a hammer. And I'm not doing the physical work, which I've tried that, and it's it feels like you went to the gym. So but yeah, I like to be, I like to be present and there, and seeing the progress from, a shell to a beautiful swan.
I love it. I love it. So who would you say is among like your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration, oh Jesus. So I'm going to have to just I'm gonna have to say, I hope this is not like a public figure or anybody, but I'm gonna have to say my parents, honestly. My parents, they have been the biggest inspiration to me, because they just molded me for who I am. And so all of my, traits and qualities and attributes and all these things, I get it from them. Like my dad, he's always been in construction. And so he wasn't he was a carpenter. And he's always been in construction, and that's how I actually grew to love real estate, was through him, through seeing him and going to these projects, as a little girl.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's one. And then my mom, like, she's just one of the strongest women that I know, one of the hardest working women that I know, and she just always motivated me to keep going. Like, she never wanted me to quit, even if I was ready to. Like, I remember going to college, and I didn't really like the town that I was in. And so I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm ready to come home. I don't want to be in this town. It's too small. She's like, no, don't you dare. You go to one of the best colleges in this state. She's like, don't you dare. You have to, thug it out. And I said, okay. And I ended up, staying for a couple years. So they have just motivated me, fueled me, and been my entire, support system.
That's awesome. Big ups to the parents. I love it. Now, Christina, have you read any decent books lately?
Oh yes, I'm a big reader. I'm a big
Okay.
reader. I one of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by
Yes.
Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I love that book and I read it every single year and I
Okay.
highlight in it and I practice a lot of the things that I've learned from it because in that book he teaches you a lot of he teaches you um how to like analyze yourself, how to do an inventory of yourself. And so when I learned that from him, I said, "Oh, I need to teach this to my mentees because they need to learn how to take an inventory of themselves."
Mm-hmm.
And then he teaches you
Good. I like that.
about like your goals and stuff. And so I said absolutely. And so, I teach them because it's like I everything that I learn is like good information that I implement, and other people they need to know this information. I don't know if they're out here, opening up these books, but they they need to. So
Yes.
that's one of my favorite books of all times. Think and Grow Rich. Another book that I like is by Deepak Chopra. It's called the seven, or is it the six? The six laws of what is it? The six spiritual laws of wealth.
Okay.
So that one is
Okay.
that one's a really, really, really good book. Another one I like is The Richest Man in Babylon. Oh,
Okay.
have you read that one? That one
I
is
haven't yet, but like there have been lots of people who have come on here who have mentioned that book. So
Yes, that book is such a good book. That book
okay.
teaches you the six laws of wealth. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. That book
Okay.
is a really good book. What's another book? Hmm. You know one book I like, the 10x rule by Grant Cardone. I really
By
like.
Greg Cardone.
Yes,
Okay.
I really
I
like
like
him.
Grant. I like
Yes,
Grant.
I do, but he's just going to put some fire up on your behind, and he's like, you need to go get it. Like you need to
Love
be
it.
posting 10 times a day. They need to see you every 10 minutes. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
right. So that one is like very motivating. I really like it.
Okay.
I've read it twice so far, but I think I'm going to read it
Okay.
again.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Yeah. Thanks for those titles. And yeah, I'm definitely going to check out The Richest Man in Babylon because like I've said, there have been lots of people who have mentioned that book in particular. So I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and just grab it. So I
Yes.
love it. So to wrap up, let's just go to Facebook really quickly to see if anybody had any questions.
Okay.
And hey guys, if you're watching this on the replay, you can always put your questions down below, and I will make sure that Christina gets them. But let's just see if we have any comments or questions here. And